Nathan made his way through the crowd of people trying to register for the nobility and spiritual fighting examinations. He was anxious to speak to his father about his decision to challenge House Raven, but as he approached, he realized that two others had joined Ulrich, Amelia, and the Grahams. Carlton Crane and his son John sneered as Nathan rejoined his family at the rear of the hall. Before they could get a word in, Nathan turned to Ulrich and nodded his head. "Father, I have signed up for the spiritual fighting exam, as well as the nobility exam for our family." "Nathan Hayfield, I'm glad to see you're still alive. It might be best if you gave up on that spiritual warrior exam right now. You see, only real swordsmen like me have a chance at placing high in it." John Crane cackled as he got up in Nathan's face. Before Nathan could respond, Amelia shoved John out of Nathan's personal space. John tripped and nearly fell to the floor. Nathan couldn't help but smile as his sister defended him.
"You idiot! Get out of his face! You have no idea how strong my brother is. He'll wipe the floor with you on that exam."
Amelia rushed to slap John as he tried to stand up, but Nathan grabbed his sister's hand before she could land a strike.
"Amelia, relax. It's okay."
Reluctantly, she lowered her palm. Nathan turned to John and offered out his hand to him. John scowled and ignored the helping hand. Nathan shook his head.
"Why bother arguing here, John? Why not let our grades on the examination do the talking? And if you're still as strong as you say you are, we can settle things between our houses in the aristocracy exam. You are challenging us after all, aren't you?"
"Why, you cocky son of a—"
Carlton Crane cut off his son by grabbing his arm and pulling him away from Nathan.
Enough of this nonsense. You're embarrassing me in public."
In truth, Carlton Crane knew that open combat between his family and the Hayfields would only end in disaster. With the support of the High Lord Raven, Carlton could take them down in the aristocracy examination without an issue. But right now, when the Cranes would have to fight on their own, they could not risk losing a public skirmish. Sure, it was a well-known rule that noble challenges could be fought only between blood relatives of a family's house. There were plenty of loopholes around this issue. Normally, this rule was in place in order to avoid the risk of a wealthy family buying strength from a bunch of sellswords. But the High Lord Raven had thought of a workaround to support the Crane family. By claiming that some of House Raven's strongest warriors had distant lineage relations with House Crane, the High Lord Raven could send his men into the aristocracy exam to support Carlton against the Hayfields. At least, that was the plan. This was yet another reason why Carlton wished to avoid conflict here. Instead, he simply scoffed at the Hayfields and the Grahams.
"We wished to inform you of our intentions to challenge your family during the aristocracy exam. However, it's not too late to surrender the seat peacefully and accept me as your future lord. I promise I'll be merciful and do my best to protect you from House Clay and House Raven." Nathan chuckled audibly. "Father, sister, let us take leave of this place. There is nothing left for us to stay here." Baylor and Podrick waved goodbye to their friends as the Clay family stewed in anger. Podrick's voice cut through the throng of people lining up in the meeting hall. "Go and be well, my friends, and Nathan, best of luck to you on your examination." Ulrich smiled and boomed back to his friend from across the hall. "And to you as well, Podrick. Good luck to Baylor." Carlton's face shook with rage. He called out across the hall towards the Hayfields as they left.
"Mark my words, Ulrich. You're making a mistake. Enjoy your title while you have it, for in a few days' time my family shall sit in your seat. Do you hear me? Your days are numbered, Ulrich Hayfield."
As they left the room, Nathan shared a chuckle with his family. "I was wondering how long it would take for him to scream at us again, Father, and at such high volume.
Boy, he'd have a much better career as a bard than as a lord of the realm.
Amelia giggled at his joke as Ulrich's eyes began to water.
Really, Nathan, you jest well, but we ought not to underestimate them. Don't worry, Father. I've estimated them quite accurately.
Podrick smiled as he finished waving and looked down at his son. Then, suddenly, the Grahams became aware of the fact that they were still standing next to the cranes. Podrick whispered to Baylor as he ushered him away.
Come, Baylor, we'd best leave as well before the volcano mouth erupts once more.
Carlton Crane's head whipped around towards the Grahams. Veins bulged in his neck as he screamed,
I heard that! You impudent knave!
Carlton's voice was so obnoxiously loud that even his son, John Crane, stuck his fingers in his ears. After registration day was over, Nathan continued to train in his hotel room as he waited for a few more days to pass before the spiritual fighting examination. He focused on improving his Asura Eye technique and got into the habit of running the perimeter of the city twice each day. Without his great metal training bars, he did not wish to break anything, so he shadow-fenced for several hours each day, channeling the power of Asura into his body and imagining a sword in his grasp, pictured the High Lord Raven's face every time he struck his final blow. During this time, he also searched in vain for clues about his mother's murder. Ulrich also did this, but with little success. They had even petitioned for an audience with the Duke to discuss the matter, though Duke Godrickson himself was notoriously difficult to contact. Despite being nobility themselves, it would likely take several months before they would be able to receive an audience. Time passed quickly until the day of the spiritual fighting examination arrived. Due to the two great examinations happening about the same time, the Kingdom of Calandria deemed it best to hold the smaller exam for the student warriors first, and then hold the nobility examination a few weeks later. Nathan marveled at the sea of people all around him in Godricshall Square, the largest gathering place in the city, where the spiritual fighting examinations took place. Every 5 years, hundreds of competitors and thousands of people who wished to watch the show packed the place. Nathan made his way through the plaza and nonchalantly took his place in line among the other students. Hardly anyone around him looked up from their own nervous preparations. Despite Nathan's duel with Jason, few spiritual warrior students thought that Nathan was particularly strong.
Please subscribe to the Pocket FM YouTube channel and press the bell icon for instant notification. Check out our channel for more such exciting shows.